Welcome. At this time, we'll open up reorganization for the year 2021. I would open up nominations for president.
I nominate Ben Gale.
Second.
We have a nomination for Ben Gale and a second. Any further nominations? At this time, we'll close nominations. Roll call vote for Ben Gale for president for 2021.
Councilman Steele.
Yes.
Councilman Reese.
Yes.
Councilman Sumner.
Yes.
Councilman Alexander.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman Vaughn. Yes. Vice President.
Yes. Unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Moving on, we also need a motion for a nomination for vice president.
Nominate Anthony Emery for vice president.
Second.
Nomination and a second for Councilman Emery. Any other nominations? All right, then we'll repeat the same process, a roll call vote for Councilman Emery for vice president.
Councilman Steele.
Aye.
Councilman Reese.
Here, yes.
Councilman Sumner. Councilman Alexander.
Yes.
Councilman Emery.
Yes.
Councilman Vaughn. Yes. President Gale.
Yes.
Thank you, fellow council members.
Congratulations, Vice President Emery. Let's move now on to approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the November 10 meeting?
Mr. President, I make a motion that the minutes be approved as read.
Okay. Motion for approval by Councilman Reese.
Second.
Second by Councilman Emery. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
All abstain. Having not been a member.
One abstention from Councilman Steele, but the motion carries. Next, we have the auditor's report. Mr. Gardner.
Council, I just had a few figures I wanted to go over with you to start this new year out. If you see in your packet, I just have a quick cheat sheet on some cash balances for ones that the council funds that the council deal with the most. Also in your packet, I think I had it on the bottom, is a full fund balance sheet which lists every county fund that exists, including the many grants that we have. The total, this is ending balances as of December 31st. The ending balances, total ending balances of all funds was $40,439,889.26. That's every single fund that the county manages. Your year-end cash balance for your general fund ended up at $8,489,000. The unexpended balance from last year's budget ended up at $1,527,000 that was budgeted to spend and was not spent. So, with that said, we would have been, if everything was spent, down close to $7 million, which is not enough money to get from tax draw to tax draw. So might keep that in mind. That balance really to comfortably manage the general fund throughout the year really needs to end the year at $9 million or more, $9 to $9.5 million. So we're not quite where we'd like to be. But 9.5 would be comfortable. As your budget grows over time, of course, that balance that you need to operate is a little bit more. So $8.5 million is not where we want to be. About $1 million more than that really is where we want to be. I also listed the health fund, which our health administrator does a nice job on managing her budget, the many funds and grants that she manages. We're in good shape there. The reassessment fund, Cume Bridge. I also put the highway funds in there. Last year we had a little difficulty with the highway funds. You have your 1176 fund, which managed the entire highway department previously, with the exception of the local road and street. But a couple of years ago, the state split that, where funding that came in went into the 1176 and the 1173. But the 1173 is a restricted fund, can only be used for road construction, reconstruction. So last year it was a little difficult that first year to get those both in the black. We were able to run in the red a little bit, but by year end it all had to pan out. So we've worked with the highway department over this last year, and he ended the year in nice shape with a little over $500,000 in each of those funds. So we're in good shape there. Public safety funds right at $2 million, and the rainy day fund ended up at $36,000. So all that was appropriated for the rainy day fund did not get used. So we've talked about it before and where we think that rainy day fund needs to be, and we do have rainy day money budgeted for this year. And if we don't dip into that, we should be at 1.2 million, just a little bit more than that by the year end, and that is in anticipation for 2022 lit revenues being down based on what's happened this year with the whole COVID event. So we're trying to prepare for that. So $1.2 million is where we should be if we stay away from that fund. Plus anything we might put in there during the year. The Group Insurance Reserve Fund, I just threw that in there. We don't normally talk about that, but the Group Insurance Reserve Fund's at almost $2 million. I believe that the treasurer keeps that invested, so that'll be drawing interest. So I don't really have anything else unless you have any questions for me. Yes, sir.
In your November minutes, you had indicated that we would be getting from CARES Act funding approximately $1.5 to $2 million, and that the expected cash flow balance would be 1.9 to 9.1 to 9.6 million, and your report is 8,489,000. Did we get
that? Yes. No, we did get the CARES Act money, but it's still sitting in the CARES Act fund. We got, I believe it was 3.2 was the final number we've got in this CARES Act. That is 89, I think it's 8903. So it will take a resolution to move that money over into the general fund. So to answer your question, that money's not moved over yet, and it will take an act of the council to do that. So $3,203,243.60 is what came in December. So that would have been the end of that. There were already some funds in there that have expenditures. Matter of fact, we have a special meeting on the 26th, and one of those expenditures were computers for public safety vehicles, and that number is almost $400,000, which will come off of that $4,057,777. So we had the 3.2 come in there plus what we already had in there. So you're going to be at about a little over 3.7 million that will be in there after those claims are paid that were already pre-approved by the state in the CARES Act fund. So,
is it possible to make that ordinance in this meeting? It's not, or do we have to advertise that?
We wouldn't have to advertise that, but we do need a written ordinance. But it does take an ordinance, and we'd like to do that maybe for the 26th meeting is what I was thinking. But it's up to you guys. You might want to talk about that today, how much you want to move over. into the rainy day fund. I know there's different things in the works as far as the CARES Act money goes, but I can't speak to that right now.
Rick, I got a question, real quick. As this pandemic goes on, I know you guys just did a budget in November and finalized it. Do you forecast to see, as this goes on, any of those numbers of revenue coming in dropping or going? Do you see, how often do you see that, I guess, so we can forecast what to do on the council to prepare for it?
There's a variety of miscellaneous revenues that have definitely been affected by it. Our lit number is set for the year, so no matter what happens, our local income tax money that we're getting monthly will be the same for the public safety portion and the certified lit. But the way it really works is you had all your activity as far as income in 2020, and people will file their income taxes in 2021. So your 22 lit revenue will be based off state income taxes that are filed this April 15th. So, and I wouldn't have any way of knowing where that's going to be. They anticipate it to be way down, though. That's the reason for putting that money in the rainy day fund, anticipating that to be low in 2022. And we'll know that in December of this year, what we're going to get in 22.
So Rick referenced a special meeting. What was the date of that one?
26th at 6 p.m.
The 26th. And the purpose for that meeting was to handle this, to make the transfers for certain things that need to be paid. Is that right?
Yes, we have the I don't remember what they call it, the computers for the police cars that were in a variety of things. It was I want to say $392,000 that was already ordered, but we didn't have an appropriation at the end of the year. That appropriation dies, so it needs appropriated by the council in order to pay that claim that's coming due.
Okay.
So that, and then whatever choice you make on this CARES Act money that's remaining, where you want it to go and how much of it you want it to go there, after we figure out how much, we know the 392, and there was a couple of other little items in there. I know there's some questions on some townships too, on some vehicles that were pre-approved, so I think commissioners might be talking about that. I talked to Dan about it today, so
okay.
I know that question's up in the air.
So maybe it'd be most appropriate to get a lot of that figured out and then address this at the special meeting.
I think so.
And we can have a written resolution
Yeah.
to handle that.
We've got that advertised already, so there's no room for any new money requests. Now, the sheriff has some miscellaneous funds that he usually appropriates at the first of the year, so those didn't get advertised in enough time today. I don't remember all the sheriff's here somewhere, I think. Like his photo fund and different stuff like that, he has a whole list of those we always appropriate, so we're going to do that on the 20th.
And that's not general fund or CARES money.
Right.
It's money that comes in through fees paid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So those have been advertised too,
Okay.
for the 26th.
Okay.
The advertising just didn't work out
Okay.
in time, so.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
My understanding was the commissioners had voted to give a significant sum of money to employees, and somebody called me today, was concerned about, how the county council would be able to appropriate that kind of money. It's
Right.
over $1 million.
Right.
And so, and this is my question, even though the commissioners have allocated that money from their perspective, don't we still have to appropriate that money, and where would we?
So Councilman Alexander, in a meeting that happened after that, it's my understanding the commissioners rescinded that, and I've been asked by Commissioner Richwine to appoint a member of our council to a committee that they have formed to address that, to investigate, what's appropriate and who would be the appropriate recipients. And so we'll get to that appointment here in a little bit, but at this time, that's not something that we have to address, fortunately. So, good question, though.
Is that it?
Anything else?
For me?
Next on our agenda is encumbrances. And Rick, is this something you'd want to introduce?
Yeah, I probably need to do that. So every year, basically an encumbrance is an item or items that departments have ordered within their existing budget in 2020. They've ordered the product, they've received the product, they've received a invoice or have a contract for the work being done, but there was not an opportunity to pay it in 2020. So an encumbrance would take place if they apply for an encumbrance, and then that basically pushes that appropriation into next year. You guys need to vote on that to approve those, but those are items that are ordered, received, already appropriated in 2020, but there wasn't an opportunity to get it paid before the end of the year. So it pushes that appropriate. I think the general fund portion of that was $155,000, and there was maybe, I don't know if that was the health fund or, no, reassessment fund, I think was the other one, 30-something thousand.
Mr. President, I'd make a motion to approve encumbrances as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the encumbrances pass. We do have some transfers tonight.
Mr. President, I would be happy to read those
Thank
in
you.
mass if you would like.
That would be great.
Mr. President, Council, make a motion for the following transfers. From Health Department, line item 39,000, other service and charges, the amount of $959, transferring to line item 44,000, equipment for $959. Prosecutor's Victim Assistance Fund, line item 1,000.4400.00, 9602, County General Machinery Equipment, in the amount of $822.90, transferring to line item number 9602, County General Other, for $822.90. Prosecutor Victim Assistance, line item, transferring from line item 8198.39,000, Crime Victim Assistance Other, in the amount of $611, transferring to line item 8198.44,000, Crime Victim Assistance Equipment, for $611. Health Department, transferring from line item 34,000, insurance, the amount of $2,000, transferring to line item 11719, Staff Nurse 2, for $2,000. Prosecutor, transferring from line item 32,000, transportation, for $428.03, from line item 17101, transcript fees for $3,000, line item 17200, witness reporting fees, $4,000, transferring to line item 23,000, operations expense, in the amount of $428.03, and line item 39,000 for other, for $7,000. Transferring weights and measures, transferring from line item 370, rental, in the amount of $1,875, transferring to line item 440, machinery and equipment, for $1,875. Veterans Affairs, transferring from line item 21000, office supplies, for the amount of $202, transferring to line item 39,000, other services, for $202. Highway Department, transferring from line item 23,000, repair and maintenance, in the amount of $50,000, transferring to line item 22,000, operating supplies, for $50,000. And that concludes my motion.
Thank you. Yes. Rick.
Make a correction there.
Uh-huh.
That's all correct, but late in the day, this one on the prosecutor, $428.03 should transfer into the 22,000 instead of the 23,000. I think it was for fuel. But we caught that and talked to the department and corrected that. It's just a matter of more precise line item expenditure, but only the 428.03.
And make a correction then for line item 22,000, in the amount of $428.03.
Thank you, Councilman Emery. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Reese. Any discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Next, we have a few appointments. I've been working with the help of our auditor, Rick Gardner, on putting together a list of some of the different committees that the county council nominates somebody or places somebody on. Some of these are committees where a member of the council would serve and be a liaison. Others, such as the library board, which is tonight, are committees that someone else from the community has been selected. So on two of these, the hazard pay committee, that is what I referenced earlier, that the commissioners have set up to investigate and discuss the potential for employee bonuses due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm suggesting that we place Anthony Emery on that committee. The Planning Commission, Councilman Alexander, I believe would be a good fit there. And I believe that is the purview of the president to just appoint those. So I would appoint those two unless either of those two would object to that appointment. I'll give you a chance to jump ship if you want. The third is the library board. I need to find, I think there was a document here. So we do have a certificate of appointment to the Public Library Board. They are asking that Diane Hoke, who I believe has been serving on that board, Dwayne, sorry, and they are asking that we reappoint that individual to continue serving. Is there a motion to do so?
Make a motion for the appointment as presented.
Second.
Second by Mr. Reese. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that appointment is confirmed. Next, we have a special resolution 2021 R-1A. I will read this special resolution. Whereas, on or about December 21, 2020, Madison County Councilman Stephen Sumner was arrested and charged with possession of child pornography, a level 6 felony, and child seduction, a level 6 felony, and whereas children are society's most vulnerable and innocent victims of crime, the allegations of physical and sexual abuse by Councilman Sumner are abhorrent and shocking to the conscience, and whereas allegations of this nature cause irreparable damage to our community and its faith in their elected officials, and whereas while Councilman Sumner is deserving of due process, the allegations diminish his ability to represent the 2nd District of Madison County and render the council ineffective and unable to carry out its duties of representing the citizens of Madison County, and whereas the thoughts and prayers of the council are with the victims and all those adversely affected and suffering as a result of these allegations. Therefore, be it resolved that the council calls for the immediate resignation of Councilman Stephen Sumner to restore faith in the leadership of the council and begin to heal the damage done to our community. Be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage. It is to say that it's an unfortunate situation for all involved, including Councilman Sumner, is not even a strong enough phrase, but it's something that concerns have been voiced, and so we bring this before the council. Is there a motion?
Second.
No, we need a motion first. Okay. Councilman Vaughn makes a motion.
Second.
Councilman Emery seconds that motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Councilman Steele?
Aye.
Councilman Reese?
Nay.
Councilman Sumner?
Abstain.
Councilman Alexander?
Aye.
Councilman Emery?
Yes.
Councilman Vaughn?
Yes.
Councilman Gale?
Yes. We will move on now to last item for discussion on the agenda. As we know, we were dealing with some expenses pertaining to the Madison County Jail last year with doors and concern of other aging pieces of infrastructure. I felt it would be appropriate. I know that there has been some discussion about a jail study, and that may come our way from the commissioners in the near future. I felt it may be appropriate for us to have some discussion on how the council wants to move forward on determining appropriate ways to fund something that might be done with the jail. The fear is if something has to happen and they determine to plan through a jail study, we don't want to be behind the schedule on figuring out how we're going to come up with this, because whether it's maintenance, additional money in maintenance, or a renovation or a new building, obviously that's going to be a major expense. And so I wanted to bring that before the council tonight, just to see, if nothing else, perhaps between now and our next meeting, members of the council can be thinking about what an appropriate step may be, or if there were any ideas or thoughts tonight that you wanted to share, that would be fine as well. But this is purely an item for discussion to get us thinking about the direction we might want to take. So if there are any questions or thoughts, feel free to voice them. Councilman Alexander.
Mr. President, I think that we've been kicking the can down the road for a long time as far as the existing building and what the future of that building is, whether we spend a lot of money to bring it to some course standard, or do we think in terms of building something new, and for us to not be doing anything is probably not wise. So I would suggest that we allocate some appropriation for a feasibility study and try to get that implemented sooner than later.
Councilman Reese, did you have a comment?
Yes, sir. I'm not too in favor of jails. I'm definitely not in favor of paying $60 million, $70 million for jails. Man, we spend too much money on criminals. The taxpayers to do the right thing and raise their children and live in neighborhoods, and they ain't getting no money out of the deal. All the money goes to the judicial system. We got to figure out what's going on. I hear a lot of things. Like, I'm hearing people over in the jailhouse sitting there for a year, 6 months. We got people who have mental issues. They shouldn't be in jail. We have people who do crimes that shouldn't be with hard criminals. We got to figure out how we're going to deal with the cause. We got a problem. Until we get that fixed, you're just going to build one jail. We don't know what's going to end up in there. We got to fix the problem. We get numbers, where the numbers run high all the time. And I'm hearing people over in jail don't need to be over there as long as they are over there. And you guys got to fix it, guys, because our county is becoming a cesspool. We get all the people nobody else wants. We get the druggies, get everybody nobody else wants. They come through here. I see them. I talk to them. And all we're going to do is keep building more money into the judicial system. They're just getting kind of like, instead of me getting $50 out of deal with my money in tax money, I might get $5. Bring people in there. We got to pay for dialysis. We got to pay for their sicknesses. Man, let's do like they did back in the old days with Marshall Dillon. Come in the county, hey, get out of this county. Come back in here, you're going to serve some time. So all this building, spend all this money, millions of dollars, I ain't got nothing against, I don't want anybody to lose any jobs. But this thing has just done got ridiculous. And you guys know it too. You sit up here, we gotta come in here, pound money every year on that judicial system. And these guys gotta figure it out, because we're not going, the good people, the people who are doing the right thing, are not getting their fair money. And you know it's true. So that's how I feel about it. Now we gotta deal with the cause. What's going on? If we're gonna build a jail, do we need a jail for 500? Or in 2025, we need one for 1,000? And like I said, you got people in there with mental issues that shouldn't be in there. Maybe we need to look at something a little bit different and deal with the folks like homeless, and instead of them being in there. If we've got hardened criminals, deal with those hardened criminals. But just to build a jail for cesspool, I'm tired of this. And I'm speaking for, I know a lot of people and citizens want the best value for their tax dollars. And that's what we're here for to do. So if you're going to put a study together, put one together both ways. How we deal with the cause. And then we deal with what size we need. Because this is just getting ridiculous. We get up to every budget. We can't give the people no money. We can't give the employees any money, because we're spending all the money elsewhere. If you're lying, think I'm lying, get the figures out and look at them. We can't even give our employees money. Paying all the money to the attorneys. It's just old. So this system, we got to figure this system out. If we're going to harbor, and we're going to become a place in Madison County to harbor criminals, and let's get into business and harbor. But it's just ridiculous. $60 million? Man, I live on 9th Street. My house barely worth $30,000. You're going to build a place for somebody to live better. They're going to live better than I do and have medical, place to sleep. Ridiculous. So I might lose some votes, but man, we got to change this thing. And that's it, sir. I'm sorry.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts, and I think all of us would love to know how to approach and treat the cause. And perhaps someone will come forward with some ideas on that. I don't know.
I need to start soon, Mr.
Yeah.
President.
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes.
I think the jail feasibility study is definitely the right first step to take. I know we've been in conversation with the commissioners about this, and I know they want to move forward on that. First and foremost, we have to know exactly what it is that we need.
Right.
Do we need, as Councilman Reese said, do we need a 500-bed jail? I don't know. Do we need something with mental health in it? Probably so. But I think that's something that can be addressed through that jail study.
Right.
If we could get that done, I think what we need to do is have conversation between now and maybe even the special meeting coming up at the end of the month with the commissioners about what exactly it's going to cost for a jail study, at least a ballpark figure, and definitely try to start moving forward with that. I know that there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes to help with it. I know Judge Hoppy is one of those that's been instrumental on working on pretrial with a group of his folks. And you guys have done an outstanding job with that, and I appreciate that. And we are making improvements. I think it's getting better. I believe we have seen some of the numbers going down, and I hope they stay there. Wishful thinking, I know, sometimes. But at the end of the day, we do have to have a secure detention facility for the bad guys. We have to keep our society safe, and right now that's the hand that we're dealt and that we have to face, and we're going to have a place to put those folks to keep our community safe. Then we can start working on, I think, the cause and effect and try to tackle that. But I know that we've been putting Band-Aids on this jail since I've been on this council. I've been talking to the sheriff about it, been talking to the maintenance crew about it. That thing's bleeding us dry, and we see it on a regular basis. So I think, again, we need to make this a priority. We need to make it happen. But the jail feasibility study is what needs to happen. It needs to happen very soon.
Well, I would be willing to reach out to Commissioner Richwine in the next day or two and see where they're at on that, and let them know of our special meeting coming up. Mr. Alexander?
Mr. President, there are some counties that have done a pretty good job in terms of some jail results, like Delaware County converted a school to almost a complete system where they incorporated the court system and everything into that particular jail facility. And Newcastle's done a pretty good job. I think we obviously need to be not recreating the wheel, but see what happened. But I think really the thing that drove the issue in Henry County was that the federal mandate. And I mean, I can appreciate Fred's concern about, you know, do we need it? It's not a matter of do we need it. It's when you start having to pay fines for non-compliance, then you're in trouble.
Right.
And so we don't want to get to that point where we're having to pay some significant costs because of the federal government mandates.
Right.
President Gill.
Yes.
I've got a couple messages last week on that, and I don't even know these folks. And I thought about a lot about this as I run in and got questioned as I running for council. And I knew I had a conversation with Major Cole on the phone. Apologize, Sheriff, I haven't got over there. I got perverted. I agree with all what you're saying, Councilman Reese. I do. But I want to protect the people. I don't want to protect the bad guys either. But I think we need a plan. We have a drug problem. We all know that. Look, I go all over the city and the county, and I talk to people, and I get calls, can you help my daughter, can you help my son? And sometimes it's not about money, it's just about caring. But the reality of it is, our financial body is, what do we do best for the taxpayers? So I agree with all that Councilman Reese said. You know, Chef Mellinger sitting over there, I'm very open. I'm going to work on a committee. I called Victoria Sparks, the new congresswoman. Is there funding available to help? I hear a lot, Sheriff, if I'm wrong, I've talked to a couple of employees, and some of those are repeat offenders that come in every week. That some of them do, and so when we release them from the jail, they're sick. So maybe we can get some funding federally if we show a plan to curb on the street or in the county drug overdoses where we can help to get some funding. So we need to explore all avenues. It's not all about locking up people. I agree with that. But I don't want no person that's committed serious offenses running around Madison County either. Right. And I think you agree with me, Councilman Reese, but you have a lot of good points. So I'm willing to go on the sheriff or the jail committee and work overtime on it, and let's bring everybody together, and not just talk about it. Let's walk the line. Let's do it. And I hear from, you know, me. I talk to a lot of people. I just like to talk, but I listen to what they're saying, and I have concern with them, and I have concern with the staffing, the turnkeys up there. I know there's safety issues, and but there's got to be a plan, Councilman Reese, where we're helping people. And it's not about locking them up and making them better for society when they come out. But when they're returning to jail after they get out, and I may be wrong, Sheriff, and you can correct me, but there's a lot of people that get up there, and all you got to do is look at it's public information, arrested for this, and this. So I'm not for raising tax on taxpayers, but we got to come together and work overtime on this and quit talking about it. And it should have been done, a long-term plan to pay for jail. And we have a lot of great ideas, and we need to get in action and get it done.
Thank you. Sheriff Mellinger, I noticed that you switched locations in the room. Would you like to share any thoughts?
That's up to you. I think sorry.
Scott Mellinger, Sheriff's Office. I think I've been in front of you countless times talking about the critical problems that come up with infrastructure. I know I've been in front of you countless times talking about the fact that we've got to move inmates out of county, which we currently have a few out of county. We're going to have to send 15 to 20 more if the numbers don't go down by the end of the week. There are so many issues involved, and Councilman Reese, I agree with you. We need to get to the root of the problem. The problem with that is social service networking. To really get to the root of the problem and make progress is not a sexy issue for the taxpayers. They do not want to pay for things they can't see, because you're talking about a 15, 20-year project. But we need to do it, and there are services out there trying to do that. We do more mental health evaluations now than we've ever done before in our current medical provider was awarded $4.2 million from FSSA about 6 months ago to do the mental health evaluation and therapy for about 63 jails in the state, including ours. So we're getting some help. But you've got an aging structure that's falling apart. We don't have enough beds for the people we have. Even if we had enough beds for the people we have, they're not segregated enough. You've got to have much more segregation. So there will be a lot of discussion. I think it'll take at least a year to decide what we really need and what we think we can pay for. I don't know how many of the council members are aware of a dedicated income tax that the legislature implemented about 4 years ago, where that tax is for detention centers, period. If somebody can come up with another way to pay for a new jail, I'm all for it. I've had a couple people come to me and say, what do you think about this? And I've said, you know, if that works, that's great. We need a place for our jail officers to work where they can be safe, where they can actually perform the duties that they're required to perform by the state and the federal government. We also need a place that will safely house the offenders and has the services that they drastically need. And that's a lot.
Sheriff, I got a question. Would you be for a plan to build a treatment facility on the jail so you don't relate, so where they have a structure where it actually helps drug epidemic people?
Yes, and you mentioned federal money. The only federal money I'm aware of, I'm happy to learn about more, but the only federal money I'm aware of, and Councilman Alexander is aware of it, there is some grant funding if you build a treatment facility either within the jail structure or attached to it, or have networking that treatment center, their priority is people coming out of jail. You can get some decent federal funding just for that piece. And jails today, I think there's 15 jails under construction right now. Every single one of them has mental health treatment inside the facility and substance abuse treatment inside the facility. There's different shapes and sizes. Tipton County has a brand new jail that includes those things. Delaware County is a really nice structure, and I would embrace repurposing an old building. But that building they moved into had been remodeled within 10 years, number one. Number two, that project still cost them nearly $40 million.
Wow.
Because if you take an old school building that wasn't built with security in mind, you have to make that old school building secure. It's not just as easy as 2x4s and rooms. There's a lot going on. The architects and builders tell me right now that the average cost for a new jail is between $80,000 and $100,000 per bed. Now, I'm not saying that that's what it is today. I'm just telling you that's what they're telling me. So take 400 times those numbers, or 450 or 500, and see what you get.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Oh,
sorry.
You know, there is provisions too that if the jail, in terms of the infrastructure, is built outside of a entitled community, there's funding available for the structure itself. If it's built outside of, like in this case, if it's outside the Anderson city limits, then there's funding available that will assist in the construction of certain aspects of it. So, you know, even thoughts of moving outside of the actual city would be of some benefit in terms of cost and cost structure, to save significantly by doing that. So, but on the other hand, You mentioned, when we had this conversation about the cost of transportation, transporting the inmates to different court appearances and all that, so you have to factor all that in. So it isn't going to be an easy situation to come up with what will work.
There's also a calculation of population in that rural area. Does it fit the criteria? Not everybody's going to want a jail in their backyard. And quite frankly, I don't know if the commissioners, I think they have an idea for a location, but it's not really been vetted to the point that we know we can put it there.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you talk about the Department of Agriculture,
USDA.
USDA,
Mhm.
and we dealt with that when we worked with Henry County
Mhm.
for a little while. But a couple things is, as you move forward trying to figure out how feasible this is, one, the council has worked over the last few years to really hold down the debt. This way we've paid for things. So there's no way you can build a facility like this without borrowing. And so really what you need to come up with is the payment amount.
Mhm.
And, you know, the MCCC and the Work Release Center was put together to free up that cash
Mhm.
to do that. So the money is gonna come available to be able to move forward in that direction. But what's not been done is a plan that, this would have to be put on the ballot in 2022. You're not gonna be able to build a jail without putting it on the ballot.
I would disagree with that, but
Well, as far as the amount of money that's spent. It's,
depending on how you get the money, you don't have to put it on the ballot if you use the legislated
Just pass that second one.
dedicated fund. At least that's my understanding, Steve.
But if the county was just to go.
Yeah, if it's just to borrow, I would agree with you there.
So you have to decide which way you're gonna go. And the other thing is the land acquisition, because there has been a lot of work already put into a plot of land. That if it's abandoned and it goes a different direction, there's a lot of wasted time and money there, so.
I think we would need somewhere between 30 and 40 acres.
Right. And the commissioners at one time were looking at an abandoned building,
Mhm.
And the property to do that. So, you know, just, a word of what has happened in the past, you know, you've got to do this thing in the proper steps.
Well, one thing we've got going for us is there's a lot of jail construction going on right now, and to realize what some of the hurdles are, it's fairly easy. You don't have to go very far away and talk to people who are building these facilities right now. The unfortunate part of that is labor is tied up on those on those projects, and they can't promise us when they can even get to us. I appreciate the chance to answer
Thank
your
you.
questions.
Appreciate
Anytime.
I would imagine at some point, once the commissioners begin a feasibility study, we may want to be involved in some way or form our own commission on just researching what possible avenues there are to fund something like this, and to also address the public and look for some public input on what's palatable, what's not. It's obviously nothing that no one's excited about spending that much money on anything when you're the financial body of county government. But as Anthony said, at a certain point, we have an obligation not to continue to kick the can down the road. And so it's been made clear, at least during the last year that I've been on the council, that there is definitely financial need and there are definitely problems with the existing situation. So anyway, we'll continue to discuss, and I'll reach out with Commissioner Richwine. If there's nothing else, I would take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Emery.
Second.
Second by Mr. Reese. All in favor?
Aye.
We
I
are
got a
adjourned.
question though.
Oh, good.
Miss Stephanie, you are a health lady, our health guru. Given this new strand or whatever's supposed to be going on, and we're at a red here in the state, should we be meeting like this, or what's going to be the next thing we should be looking at?
Well, technically, we shouldn't have more than 25 people for a social gathering. That's social gathering. I think it's important that we still continue to keep our distance and wash our hands and wear our masks.
Do you foresee any type of thing coming down from the state where they're gonna mandate anything any smaller than what's going, because it's red. This
I know.
stuff is crazy.
Yes, I know.
And I don't see it getting any better.
I'm hoping we'll find out this evening what our status will be tomorrow, and I'm hoping that we go to orange. Our caseload has been lower than it has been, so positivity rate has been calculated differently, which did not help us. There were several of us mid-sized counties that actually it made us look worse than what we were. Helped some, didn't help us so much. So still, wash your hands, wear your mask, keep your distance. But we got vaccine underway. We're on day 2 of vaccinations. We vaccinated 145 people yesterday. We're getting about 400 doses a week, which is frustrating because we can probably vaccinate 300 people per day if we had it. So anyway, anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to answer them whenever.
Thank you. Hey, man.
It doesn't matter.
Come here. I love you guys, man. Don't get me wrong. I know y'all in a crappy place, okay? Yeah, you guys are in a crappy place. It's raggedy, horrible, okay? We'll work on something. Good job, bro. Good job.
That's it? No, I was looking for one. There it was.
Let's see. You signed this? You signed this?
I'm federal, man. I don't have to.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, you gotta get signed.
You got to sign these, man.
I think you just got me signed.
Okay, you're good. You're good. You're
I don't
good.
know. I need to sign
I
it.
want to make sure you sign it. You sign this one?
You can have my cover.
Mikhail. I remember they say, you told me, man, I'm going to call me Mikhail. Okay, bro. I love you. You let me have more places to put.
I do want to sit down with that.
I think you see where.
I talked to Victoria a little bit about it.
You will put a
I'll get him. I'll call you soon, Sheriff, because I really want to.
Hey, Judge. You all right, sir? You're welcome. Let's get together and do criminal business. You're going to deal with the criminal business. Let's get deal with the criminal business. Yeah. I've been in a he said so. The sheriff said I've got to pay my work out there. Hey, I like that picture.
Thank you. There's some parts that are getting
That's good.
That's a huge improvement over where we were 18 months ago. It really is.
I also want to require your system.
They take drugs, they hurt themselves, they jeopardize their finances and their jobs. There's another group that hurt other people. One is
You get away without signing, Jerry?
Yeah, he leaves. So there's a lot of
He's a senior.
I think you are honest and really
Councilmember.
We can get out without signatures.
There's always somebody to chase
I know you guys can't tell. I wouldn't want your job. I wouldn't pay you.
I've been working in criminal justice for 20-something years, and my attitude is
Just head left. Yeah.
but sometimes that's all you have left. So that's the part.
No, but it'll be.
All right.
Happy New Year, bro. Happy New Year. You're one of the few people, Judge, that with the mask
Yeah.
They kind of like your sign.
I'm going like that way, straight out, my car to the right.
Whose phone's that? That's not mine. Oh, that's, oh, is he coming back with it?
Is he coming back?
Oh, man. You better.
Oh, it's coming.
That's bigger than that.
Brad, thank you.
That's a hell of a city.